Okay, time for part 2 of the Nazmir video. I really hope you enjoyed those cinematic shots. They were a hell of a lot of fun to put together. But yeah, this time we're going to go on foot. I'm going to take you through some of my favorite areas of this zone, some of the stuff that I think you really ought to see. But what I'm not going to do is go into story spoilers, so don't worry, you are all safe on that front. Now, the very first part of this zone that I really get into, because this is where they started us off on the alpha, is this. I don't know what to call these. I think there are mangrove trees around here. I don't really know what the tall ones are, but this is one of my favorite little areas, pretty much in Battle for Azeroth. I'm not really quite sure why. I think it's something about the low-hanging, like, fog on the surface of the river that I really like. It just sort of blends everything together. It's very immersive and cool. I mean, hey, you know, ask, I don't movies, right? You know, you just make the area foggy and have characters smoke and suddenly it's an immersive scene or whatever. You also have these beautiful reflections because there's just so much verticality going on that when you sort of look at this, and when you look at the water, you see the big reflections, but also because the water's really shallow, you still get what is, you know, underneath on the surface. So it makes for a pretty damn rich picture. Plus, the actual ground clutter when you're going around here is really quite strong. And that means that overall it is a image that I would describe as being rich, even though that's about as informative of saying that, you know, a class feels clunky or that something is dynamic or that a team has synergy. Anyway, let's keep on moving though, because there are so many really cool areas to show you in Nazmir. So we're going to go up to one of the first hubs that the Horde run into. Now it's pretty much abandoned ruins. It gives you a little bit of an idea though of what the vibe of the interior of this zone is. Definitely a lot more threatening. Suffice to say, this zone is somewhere that you end up in after really significant lore has happened. I don't want to spoil what that stuff is, but suffice to say it should be a pretty damn cool story when you get to play it on live, especially when all the voice acting, all of that stuff is in. But let's get back to the zone. So you've probably seen a whole bunch of raptors. That is something that you will see a lot, of course, with the Zandalari throughout all of their zones. Overall, what I found, though, is the navigation of this zone, oddly enough, has been quite nice, even though it is a big marsh. So while you're not always able to see extremely far into the distance, you actually, first of all, you do have a pretty decent view distance, which is nice. There are also good paths around the zone. They tend to be lit. You can see this torch over here, which is quite nice for making your way around the place. And generally, it's one of those zones where I imagine when you open the world map, because it mostly is flat and there's not a massive amount of multi-layered stuff going on, it should be quite easy to navigate and make your way around. At the very least, I found that when using this world map, which is really just the mini-map data put into the world map because they haven't actually drawn it yet, I imagine. So I've moved over into a darker area of Nazmir, and this is where I'm going to show you the blood troll areas. So the blood trolls, you can see they've got these lovely, rich, you know, sort of deep blood reds. And that really does add a lot of contrast, and yeah, just visually they're really cool. And when you actually look at their 3D models, which we've done in the past, just as enemies, they're really, really cool. Now, that is Uldir. We're not going to be going there because, well, we will be going there as a raid, but I'm not going to be going there right now. Suffice to say, it's pretty damn cool. But there are many other, like, little sub-areas and biomes, sort of biomes to show you. So let's keep on going. And actually, just as I'm running here, one thing I want to point out is, in this zone specifically, well, actually, no, this and Drustvar, to be fair, there's a great use of fog when it comes to giving you like scale and depth in the zone. Also, here are the Komodo dragons. First of all, they look particularly high resolution, which is interesting. They've got a funny run because of, well, you know, how those guys are constructed. But yeah, cool little creature. Not going to talk about this guy, but suffice to say, pretty cool looking purple beam. Let's keep on going though, because the next place I'm going to take you to is definitely something that you'll recognize from the trailer, and it's pretty damn cool in person. Okay, so we're coming up on these extremely cool ruins, and there is one slight bizarre thing in that we basically have the skybox completely change on the way in. This blood moon appears out of nowhere, which, to be honest, yes, it is a little bit jarring, but that said, once we're actually in here, we do get one of the coolest little sub-areas that we've seen. And again, I've been talking about fog a lot. There's this like surface, this like low-level fog that's going on around you that's really cool. I'd be interested in seeing what it looked like if it actually was like around your character and there wasn't this bizarre sort of, you know, circle going on around you where there's no fog. But as we go in here, you really start to see the scale of stuff. You see all of the spirits being sort of, you know, sucked in towards this place. Well, and, you know, being drawn in the case of these guys, literally being sort of sucked in the case of these swirly things over here. Just overall, like, when you can really frame any shot here, and it looks just cinematic as hell and really cool. Yeah, there's cool questing here, and it's a really, really, really nice area. Another touch that I love, and you may have just caught it there, but I want to sort of highlight it, is whenever you go near these, they, or at least whenever you go near some of them, they sort of ignite, which is really cool. Okay, I'll probably just rewind that to show, yeah, like these. So that's pretty nice as you're running around the place. We've got these two big golem guys as we go into the main area, and once we actually go in here, we do see, yeah, a very, very, very cool scene. I mean, look at these guys. This is just awesome. So, yeah, that is this area of Nazmir. Definitely a lot more dark and foreboding. So, I think it's probably time to actually show you somewhere even more dark and foreboding, and then show you some of the more beautiful, serene stuff. And it's full of blood trolls. The blood trolls are, oh, they're so cool. Now, the slight problem is I'm just going to get mauled by everything around me. So that's the thing. As you can see, it's not great for everyone involved here. I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat, mate. Let's keep on going. Sort of try to escape from here. Yeah, the blood trolls, though, they're extremely cool. One thing I love is loads of bats floating around that, like, central cavern thing. And you probably saw in a lot of the glam footage of this zone, there's loads of just, like, nice little, you know, like, mosquitoes and dragonflies and insects and things ambiently flapping about the place in the world. Just, yeah, this shot right now, I hope you're digging this as much as I am, because it's pretty damn cool. If you look at these dinosaur NPCs, man, they're so damn big, and yeah, I love it. Doesn't really work as soon as we go close enough to that area to trigger the blood moon, but, like, come on, this is just cool as hell. Yeah, hey, dinosaurs are awesome. Nothing's really changed in that front, and I think, as always, World of Warcraft's interpretation of dinosaurs has been pretty cool, and as I move the camera back, you can really just get a sense of how tiny my character is in comparison to these guys. So I'm not going to get stomped, and we're going to go and move quite a bit across over to the rest of the zone. Yeah, so stuff's not looking great for the turtle, but once again, this is like another cool little sub-zone slash kind of quest hub, a little bit like what we just saw with the sort of the large ruins area, but, you know, it's a little bit different. Of course, the blood trolls, our good friends, are back at it again, as you could expect. Also, we still have some dinosaurs, which is great, keeping up the dinosaur quota, which is definitely something that works in this zone's favor. So overall, Nazmir is a really, really, really cool zone. I typically do like stuff that is a little bit more, like, dark and immersive and all that stuff. I remember way back in the day, Duskwallow Marsh was actually somewhere that I loved. Now, not particularly for its questing, which admittedly really wasn't that great, even though I did first play it after it had its quests revamped. But just the general sort of look and feel of the zone. We see some really cool set pieces as well, like this like boat that has been sort of enveloped by the vines, and maybe there's a mangrove tree somewhere. Or like I don't know, what are these? These things aren't mangrove trees. Mangrove trees are like closer to the ground than the water, I believe. But yeah, cool little scene, which conveniently takes us, if you look onto the horizon, to our next sort of focal point of this video, this really, really cool sort of temple thing. Now, if you go back to Zuldazar, of course, Zuldazar has a lot of architecture like this, but obviously this has seen better days. So as we go in here, you sort of see this really cool, I don't know what to call it, but it's, you know, it's like it's emulating a sunrise, the big golden thing, you know, at the pyramid, which is, yeah, pretty cool. We see all this nice weathering, loads of skeletons everywhere. Overall, just another super cool subzone that once again is sort of reinforcing something that I really have found so far in the zones of this expansion, where there is a lot of variation within each zone, more so than, say, what Azuna would have had, right? Like, I mean, yeah, Azuna's maybe one of the weaker zones in Legion, but yeah, it feels like, even in comparison to, say, something like Stormheim, there's just more variation within these zones. And if I keep on moving through that area and successfully, you know, don't get eaten by dinosaurs, we get onto the picturesque place that I was sort of had in my mind for a while. So, we've got the frogs, and I believe a frog loa. The first thing is, the face in these guys kind of reminds me of Frank Reynolds, so Yeah, there's something there for the Always Sunny fans, I suppose. We'll keep on going here. First of all, like, all of these sort of lights and just, yeah. It's so cool. It's nice seeing some of the techniques that they seem to have developed for Gorgrond and the lush areas of Gorgrond, and have those be applied to another sort of style of zone. Here we've got our big frog Loa dude, who is looking pretty damn cool. We've, yeah, just overall lights, everything here is just really nice. So that is a look at Nazmir, one of the 3 Horde zones that we're going to be getting in the next expansion, though of course Alliance players will be able to end up here eventually, I believe, in their max level stuff with the world quests. We'll have to see how that develops. So that's it for this look at Nazmir, an extremely cool zone that I've really enjoyed my time in. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly did. It's a lot of fun seeing what the art team comes up with for us. And this video was brought to you by you. So this is helped immensely by the wonderful people over on Patreon. By supporting us, they've let us tackle a lot more than what we were able to do now that there's a full-time editor working on with the channel. If you're interested in all that stuff, check out the Patreon. There you'll get early access to non-news content, regular blog posts, vlogs, the AMA, and just a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a great way to be a bit more close to the community, chat with the other guys, and also just help us out with how everything's ran. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.